In this video, we are looking at samples and populations. So a population would be a whole group that you are wanting to gather data about. And a sample would be a smaller subset of that group that you're actually collecting the data from. So for example, if you wanted to survey everyone at our school, well, that's over 1,500 people and would probably be hard for you to do. So a sample would be a smaller group of people within our school that would hopefully give you representative data of what everyone in the school thinks. So an unbiased sample is representative of your population. It would be selected at random and be large enough to provide accurate data. And then a biased sample is not representative of a population. One or more parts of the population are favored over others. So let's look at this example. It says you want to estimate the number of students in a high school who ride a bus to school. Which sample is unbiased? So the first one says you ask 4 students in the hallway. Now, asking 4 students in the hallway would be random, which is good, but it's too small to give you an accurate group of data to represent the entire school. B says you ask all students on the soccer team. So this would be biased because you're only gathering data about people who play soccer, who might be more likely or less likely to ride the school bus. C, you ask 50 12th grade students at random. So while you're asking them at random, you're asking only 12th graders. So this is not going to be representative of the entire population. And finally, D, you ask 100 students at random during lunch. This would be an unbiased sample because it's random and it's large enough to provide accurate data. Okay, another example, you want to estimate the number of 8th grade students in your school who find it relaxing to listen to music. You consider 2 samples. Which of these is unbiased? One would be 15 randomly selected members of the band, and one would be every 5th student whose name appears on an alphabetical list of 8th grade students. So the first one, okay, you're selecting randomly, but from a small pool. You're only asking people who are in band who have shown, obviously, that they enjoy music. They might be more likely to find it relaxing to listen to music. The second one, right, you're using a list, and then you're choosing names from that list. This is random, so this would be your unbiased sample. Okay, now the results of an unbiased sample are proportional to the results of the population. So you can use unbiased samples to make conclusions about a population. Biased samples are not representative of a population, so you should not use them to make conclusions. So let's look at this example to help you see what that means. You want to determine how the residents of your town feel about adding a new landfill. Determine whether each conclusion is valid. So remember that a landfill is where we put garbage. So A says you survey the 100 residents who live closest to the new landfill. The diagram shows the results, and you conclude that 10% of the residents of your town support the new landfill. So this is not going to be an unbiased sample, right? You're asking the people who would live closest to this giant collection of garbage, and they're not going to be on board with that because it's going to smell bad, it's going to be unsightly. So this is not representative of your population. The second one, you survey 100 residents at random, and the table shows the results. You conclude that 60% of the residents of your town do not support the new landfill. This is a much more accurate representation of the data because you've surveyed residents at random. Some of them may live near the landfill, some of them may not. So this is a good conclusion that probably around 60% of your residents do not support the landfill. All right, this final example, you ask 75 randomly chosen students at a school how many movies they watch each week. So first, this is an unbiased sample because there's 75 randomly chosen students. So it's randomly chosen. It's a large enough data set that you can use this to represent your population. So if there are 1,200 total students in your school, we want to use that to estimate the number of students in the school who watch 1 movie each week. So looking at our chart here, we can see 21 students said they watch 1 movie per week. So we've said the relationship is proportional. So if 21 out of the 75 students you surveyed watch 1 movie per week, we can use that to find or estimate how many people out of the 1,200 students in your school watch one movie per week. So now we can solve this proportion. 75n will be equal to 1,200 times 21. Solve for n here. So 75 goes into 252 3 times, 225. Goes into 270 3 times. And it goes into 450, I believe, 6 times. Just make sure. Yes. So n is equal to 336, meaning that around 336 people in your school watch one movie each week.